right, welcome back. We're on lesson 3, multiplying decimals by 2 and 3-digit decimals. So, it is easy to multiply whole numbers or decimals with many digits using a calculator and estimation. But what if you don't have a calculator? So, in this lesson, you're going to learn a couple of strategies for breaking decimal multiplication into smaller, simpler problems, like what we did when you guys were in younger grades. Okay, so this is going to be called the distributive property. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this number here, 17, and I'm going to break it up into smaller numbers. So here I'm going to do 13 plus 4, okay? Because smaller numbers are easier to deal with. And because this is still 17, I am going to have to multiply both of those numbers by 4 in order to have 4 times 17. So I can rewrite this as 13 times 4 plus 4 times 4. Okay? Now 13 times 4 is 52, and 4 times 4 is 16. And I can add that together and I get 68. Okay. Now I'm going to break 17 up in a different way. So I'm going to go 10 times 7 times 4. Okay, and I'm going to rewrite this as 10 times 4 plus 7 times 4. Because I still need to multiply 4 by all of 17. So I have 10 times 4, which is 40. And I have 7 times 4, which is 28. Okay, and now I'm going to put these numbers back together. So I have 68. Okay, notice the same answer. It should be the same answer. But what I'm going to ask you is, which way was easier? So clearly this way, the second way, was easier because dealing with tens, multiples of 10, and multiplying them is much easier than multiplying by 13, right? So mathematicians use this trick all the time. When there are any problems that give the same answer no matter how you do it, they just pick the easiest one to do. Okay? And this is a trick also that you did in younger grades. All right, so now we're going to try this trick with decimals. Okay? So now that we have a little refresher on how this works, what we're going to do is we're going to split this number up in 2 different ways, and we're going to decide which one is easier again. Okay, so the first way that I'm going to do this is I'm going to divide this number up into 4 plus 3/10 times 5/10. Okay, now I rewrite my problem with 5/10 multiplying by both of those numbers. Okay, and now I can just multiply it out. So this is 20. I have 1 decimal place, and this is 15, and I have 2 decimal places, and now I can add these back together. Okay, now I want you to have a look at what if I divided it up like this. So I'm just going to draw a line here so you can see. What if I took 4.3 and made it 3.7 plus 0.6? And I multiplied that by 0.5. Okay, now I'm going to rewrite this. Now, did this help me make this problem easier or not? I would say not. Okay, so even though the numbers are smaller, they are not easier to deal with. So the first way is splitting the numbers is better because the numbers are easier to deal with. And the key is to split the number at its place value. You want to multiply the decimals 1 place value at a time. Okay, so I have the 4 here and the 3/10 here, and then I do them separately, and it makes it way easier. Okay, now I have 2-digit decimals by 2-digit decimals, so I can do this in exactly the same way. So what's happening here first is I'm going to divide these into their place value. So I'm just going to go 4 plus 1/10 times 2 decimal 3. Okay, and what's happening here is I now can write it as 4 times 2 decimal 3 plus 1/10 times 2 decimal 3. Okay, this might be easy for you to do, but what I can do next is now I'm going to split this up. That looks exactly the same as this kind of problem, so I can split it up even more. So I go 4 times, and I'm going to split these at the place value. 2 plus 3/10 plus 1/10 times, right? Splitting this at the place value, 2 plus 3/10. And then I can rewrite 4 times the 2 plus 4 times 3/10 plus 1/10 times 2 plus 1/10 times 3/10. And now I can work my way through one at a time. So this is 8 plus 12 with 1 place value plus 2 with 1 place value plus 3 with 2 place values. And now I can add them. So I have 100th there, is the only one. Looking at the tenths, okay, I have 4. Looking at the ones, I have 9. So it's 9 and 43 hundredths. But I'm going to show you another way that you can do this. And this should look very similar to the multiplication charts that you used as a kid. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 4 and I'm going to put it here. I'm going to use a different color. Easier to see. Okay, I have my 4 and then I have my 1/10. Okay, and now I'm going to split up by my place value here as well. So what happens here, okay, remember I go over my column and I go down my row and I multiply 2 by 4, which is 8. And then I'm going to go over my column, multiply, and this is going to be 1 2/10. And now I have 2/10, and then I have 12 hundredths. And then I can add these pieces all back together. So I take 8 plus 1. There we go, plus. And I can just add them all back together. Oops, that's a 9. Okay, I want